Hi everyone. So I have been sitting with some heavy truths over the past 3 months, and I wanted to take some time to speak honestly with all of you about why things unfolded the way that they did. Something that I have learned in therapy is that I will always live with the guilt of the damages caused by my ex-husband, guilt for bringing him here, guilt for ignoring the red flags, and guilt for believing in a man that I shared a life with for 3 years but somehow never really knew. I can't carry the blame of someone else's crimes, but I can acknowledge the weight of everything that's happened, and I can acknowledge the reason as to why I got to this point. And I've replayed in my head countless times how I missed the signs and what I could have done differently. I'm learning, healing, and taking accountability for the part that I did play, which is letting love blind me and staying when I should have questioned more. That is on me. I ignored my instinct, not because I didn't have them, but because anytime I felt like something was off, there was always an explanation ready, and most times doctored proof. He knew how to soothe my doubt. He knew how to make me feel guilty for even asking. He knew how to distract me with intimacy and affection. And let me tell you guys something, that emotional conditioning is not built overnight. It's slowly built. And by the time you realize you're in it, the fog is so thick, and I didn't even recognize the person that I had become. A lot of you think I was blinded because I was naive and desperate to save my marriage, and those reasons are true, but it goes so far beyond that. I was blinded because I loved someone that built an entire world that was designed to feel safe. And the crazy part is that I did feel safe with him. He mirrored my values. He knew all the right things to say at all the right times. And he created a version of himself that was meticulously engineered to earn trust, not just from me, from anyone he could target. I was blinded because I always believed in the good in people and truly did not believe that someone that I loved so deeply and cared for could be capable of this kind of evil. And the reality has left a scar on me that I will carry for the rest of my life. When the truth came out, I was so lost and in such a dark place, and I was overwhelmed, ashamed, and confused and terrified that more people were being hurt in real time, and that guilt was keeping me up at night every single day. Sharing was never about running from accountability. It was about processing something that was huge while also protecting others that might fall into the same trap. And I didn't have the luxury of sitting on this for months because he's actively dangerous and hurting people. I shared quickly because silence protects abusers, and every day I waited, someone was getting harmed. I will make things right with my friends and family, but it's also very important to me to help potential victims because the pain and devastation that this man has caused in my life, I do not wish it on my worst enemy. I can't change the past, but I can promise to move forward with awareness, honesty, and a better understanding of myself. And I wanted to take the time to say thank you to everyone that has showed me grace and empathy as I go through this.
Onyeka, baby girl, the cheek of you to come on this app after finding out that your ex-prince, Danish prince, has scammed somebody else. And you're here telling us, oh my God, guys, just got word that my ex is doing the same thing he did to me to someone else. Oh my God, let's raise awareness. Whole time, you weren't even going to tell us the man's name. You were going to enable him. If it wasn't for the internet being the internet, you would have just come, told us your sob story, expecting all of us to be like, oh God, girl, you poor thing. And he would have kept doing what he was doing because what? You didn't want to tell us his name. So don't come here faking some activist shit.
People have been saying, why is nobody mentioning the fact that Onyeka gave this man a green card? It's not that we're not mentioning it, it's that there's too much shame to address. So, certain things have to kind of be left behind. So I'm going to quickly talk about it and just quickly say that personally for me, as an Irish passport holder, I cannot even give a British passport holder free reign in Europe again with my passport. I cannot do it. I cannot marry a man who will be looking, I don't even give a heck. Talkless of meeting somebody 4 months and then I give them green card. That's like me today. I meet somebody and I say, oh, I have an Irish passport. It's quite a hefty passport. Do you want that? Why the heck would I give you my passports? You know what my parents suffered to get me that passport? You know the trials and tribulations they went through so I could be a Irish passport holder? You want to come and just sweep in 4 months. Stupid and stupidest. Anyway, Sha, I just said let me quickly. I want to be quick because let's be, leaving some things aside. It's not everything we should be loud in too much. I feel like we have overlouded this topic.
A lot of women give men money. Hear me loud and clear. A lot of women give men money. So that whole Danish deception shenanigans that's going around. A lot of young girls specifically feel extremely overwhelmed and pressured by society expectations. They say things like, I feel so lost because I'm in my late 20s and I haven't met my person yet. And they want to know how I'm surviving at 40 and I have not met my person yet. I'm unmarried and no kids. Those two things make them feel like, oh my God, I'm okay. I'm gonna be okay. Unfortunately, when you are in your late 20s, about to be 30, there's this pressure that comes over you with, oh my God, I'm about to be 30. I'm failing at life, because society makes us as women feel like if you're not married and you don't have kids, you have failed. Your ultimate purpose and goal as a human being, a woman, is to be married and have kids. If a man approaches you that looks or resemble the ideal man that you have created in your mind, you don't even care about what's happening internally with him. You care about the external, the image of what you can then tell your family, your friends, now social media, and it's, I'm married and I now have kids and I have accomplished the American dream. She's not the only one. She's just the only one that came out on this internet and exposed herself and shared it with everyone else. And I know there's a lot of judgments going on. Don't even be distracted by that, because there's a lot of married women sitting right now who's married someone like that. They're in debt, or they're getting abused, or they have STDs, or he's fathered another child, or there's so many things that these men will do, and women will just say, well, at least I have someone. At least I go home to a man. At least I'm married. At least I have kids. Because they have a tendency to also compare themselves to women who have not accomplished those things as, well, at least I got a man. I'm telling you, the fact that I didn't even listen to any of them, but I think one of the talking points was the fact that she held on to his passport. There are women that are having babies just to trap the man. And a passport surprises you? Guys, think critically here. This is what happens in society when society places so much value on accomplishing those things. There are women that are so easily manipulated by the deception of all sorts of men. Are you kidding me? Some of them will go to another country to find one, come here and realize quickly that wasn't it. Please, let's call a spade a spade. We know what's happening. But money is where I draw the line for you young women. Stop giving men your money. Stop having them drive your car. Don't move no man into your house. Please don't do it. No apartment. Don't buy no man no car. Advice. Oh, well, don't do it. Do not do it. And if you even dare ask me why, wake up.
Just finished watching The Danish Deception, and I think I agree, or at least understand, most people's criticisms of Onyeka, except for the people who are saying that she was foolish to believe that a man with a title would ever need to borrow money from somebody else, because Europe is full of broke aristocrats. On top of that, there is an extensive history of impoverished European aristocrats using wealthy American women for their money. In the late 19th and early 20th century, these women were known as dollar princesses. Essentially, they were the daughters of American business tycoons who were cash rich, but who felt like they lacked social status. So they would marry their daughters to impoverished European noblemen to inherit their title. This is a pretty well-known fact here in the UK, and it is well documented. There's a Wikipedia page for Dollar Princess where you can start if you want to start looking into it. But at one point, at the end of the 19th century, in the space of 30 or 40 years, over 100 British aristocrats married rich American women. Obviously, in these situations, everybody involved knew that the relationship was based on an exchange of power, financial capital in exchange for social capital, right? And these men actually had a title. But there are still, to this day, a lot of broke aristocrats roaming around Europe. So although I agree that there are a bunch of things that maybe Onyeka could have done differently in the name of self-preservation, there is this one thing that I think can be said in her defense.
And one last thing about this whole Danish deception thing, I feel like the main reason why she ended up where she ended up was because she was so busy trying to prove to this man that she wasn't a gold digger, never realizing that he was one. You're so busy trying to say, I'm not with you for the money. Look, I could pay for trips. I could pay for this. And he's like, you know what? You could pay for everything. When that man took you to that store and you passed the Lady Dior bag, which is a couple $1,000s, to buy yourself a $200 pair of sunglasses, and that man said to you, oh, you're cheap. That's an insult. I'm sorry. A provider man is never going to accuse you of being a gold digger. He's never going to make you feel like you're using him. Everything is more expensive for women. There's literally something called a pink tax. I feel like when she heard that man say that he was royalty, she considered all the money that she was spending on him as an investment to prove to him that she wasn't the gold digger. She was willing to overlook all of these lies because she thought he had money. Low key, I feel like they were both playing a game. And she got outplayed. She got caught up in all this talk about expensive watches and properties being sold for $500,000, and she fell for it. And she has refused to take accountability for her role and where she ended up. She didn't start telling everybody what she knew until that man left her. And then she found out that he was using other people too. She could have saved herself so much time if she had just confided in her inner circle. We've done a basic Google search. Kissing a frog and him turning into a prince only happens in Disney fairy tales. It doesn't happen in real life. He knew that she wanted a Prince Charming, and he literally presented himself as one.
I have no doubt that Danish deception guy can scam more money in China. And apparently he did have victims in Shanghai. Because you'll be shocked to find out how many Chinese people worship whiteness, specifically putting mediocre white men on pedestal. I'm saying this because I used to be one of them. Okay, this is so embarrassing to admit. Beyonce, please forgive my sin. But looking back, aside of my people pleasing and savior complex, being seen with a white man really did make me special in the way that I probably wouldn't feel if I'm with an Indian, Asian, Black, or any other man of color. And I think this is connected to the message we received as we grew up. You know, back then, all the leaders of all industries are white people, and all the Hollywood movies, TV shows we watched are filled with white faces. So without even realizing it, the sense of white supremacy is already subtly ingrained in our heads. And you can see this effect in the East Asian beauty standards. All the girls like high nose, double eyelids, and really white skin. And it makes me wonder if the media we consumed as kids told us that Indian girls are the standard of beauty, would there still be so many girls who would go extreme to harm their bodies to white their skin? Another really sad thing to see is that in China 2025 you can still get colonial treatment. Like if you walk into a bar or restaurant where there are a lot of like Westerners, you will notice how better they treat white people than they treat Chinese people. In Chinese we call this type of people 香蕉人, banana people. You're yellow on the outside but you're white inside. Mentally, spiritually, you so want to be white. But as they say, you live and you learn. I really hope more Chinese people and other Asian people, let's stop putting mediocre white men on pedestal.
And speaking of the Danish deception thing, I don't know if he's going to get mad at me for sharing this, but by the time my boyfriend and I like made it official and decided, I was like, all right, I'll be your girlfriend. You've done all these things. You have shown to me that you're boyfriend material. You know what I did? And I look back and I'm like, damn, that was pretty audacious. I'm not going to lie. I audited that man's finances. I literally said, what is your net worth? I want to see the accounts. I want to see it with my own eyes. Even though he was like, you know, flying me on all these trips and doing all these things for me and like buying me all these things, I was like, Q, I don't know if that's a credit card. I need to know that you're the person that you say you are. I need to audit those accounts. And I was not scared to do it. And he looked at me and goes, I've never had anyone ask to do that. I've never had that happen. And I said, well, welcome to the first time, bitch. Pull up those accounts. Okay? First time for everything, isn't there? Pull up those fucking accounts. Y'all are too afraid to offend these men. Y'all would rather cut men off entirely before you approach your relationships with men being offensive and being audacious. And like being confrontational and being upfront. But being confrontational and being upfront is going to save you so much heartbreak and time loss and deception and money loss and all that shit. You need to do a full audit on these men, not just their financial accounts, all of it. Audit them completely. I want to see anything you say you did. I want to see the proof. And I don't feel bad about that shit either.
This whole Danish deception bullshit, wrap it up before 6 p.m. today. I don't want to see any mumu behavior on my timeline again. I'm tired of muting, and I'm tired of blocking. Because you can't be that stupid. As a Nigerian woman, Igbo woman to be exact, you people wrap this conversation up because it's getting out of hand. It's a whole new week. The week about to end. It's supposed to be Thanksgiving. Wrap it up. Wrap this shit the fuck up. You give money to a white man. We're supposed to be collecting money from the colonizers. What is this?